Hey guys, welcome to When the Night Comes. So I've played this game before, except for the last chapter. I never finished it. Woe is me. Anyway, this game used to be free to download, but you could donate whatever you wanted to the developers, because you're getting a game for free, might as well give them some money, show them some love. This game recently was released on Steam because they got some voice actors to join, including the voice actor for Fenris from Dragon Age. That's the only one I know of. So, with this one, there is, with the voice acting, I'm not going to be talking over it. I'm going to allow the characters to speak fully. And here we go. So the one I'm going to be romancing is the one I was romancing last time because I never actually finished his route. I was missing the last chapter. The one I'm romancing is Finn. Tell us your first name. Let's be Azuro. Now your surname. Why not? I also love that you can choose your pronouns in this game. We're going to go with he, him. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm obsessed. Oh, it's so good. Okay. Department of Enforcement Official Office of the Lieutenant General. You have been selected for immediate transfer and are authorized to report to the enforcement headquarters in Lunaris, Escria. Please find your mission information and all other relevant documents enclosed. Once the information has been digested, we order that the documents are promptly destroyed. This information is highly classified, as are all details of your relocation. Upon arrival, please report to General Augustus Willenheim. Respectfully, Lieutenant General Harold Addington. I arrive in Lunaris at dusk. I've been traveling for days. My feet are sore, my eyes are tired, and all I can think about is how much I need a damn good sleep. I'm a hunter, and I've been called here by the Lieutenant General of Ascria to lead an investigation. The matter is apparently urgent if the rapid way in which I've been summoned is anything to go by. The things that you hear about in ghost stories and fables are all real, and it's my duty, my purpose, to protect humanity from those creatures that go bump in the night. There have been a series of particularly violent murders here on Lunaris lately. The local enforcers, the agency that oversee us, can't seem to put their finger on who or what the culprit is. I was the most skilled hunter general in the previous town I was assigned to, but I eagerly welcomed the change of scenery. Even if it does involve murder and a healthy dose of existential dread. Though, as I sink further into the town, the feeling that washes over me is making me wonder if I made the right choice. As if I even really had one at all. Our lives are bound and I live to serve. As hunters, we're the only ones equipped to deal with such monstrosities. Plucked from our families at a young age, we're told that we hold an incredibly rare talent, not only in passing the secretive initiation that gives us with keen senses and empathetic skills, but also in possessing the mental fortitude, intellect, and obedience necessary to ensure our effectiveness and loyalty. I steel myself and wander aimlessly through the unusually narrow streets, unable to focus on much else other than the thought of a warm meal and a comfy bed. The only thing that distracts me from such thoughts is the way the sky begins to turn an inky, infinite black. Wisps of mist swirl around my ankles, seeping out from every crack and crevice. Flickers of magic are present within the smoky tendrils, and I can't help but wonder if my mind is playing tricks on me. I turn a sharp corner and see people running, scooping up small children, scrambling to get inside. I hear the sound of doors slamming and locking, echoing off the crooked stonework. Curtains are drawn, windows are closed, and then... darkness. The abnormal kind. Although the stars are shining brightly at a glance, and the crescent moon hangs low, neither offer much light. It's unsettling, to say the least. A chill rolls down my spine and I walk faster, my sore feet continuing their protest. The instincts that have been part of me since my initiation kick in, and I have a feeling deep in the pit of my stomach that I need to get inside, and fast. I spot a mage light lantern as I head further down the street. The dull blue flame flickers invitingly in the darkness, drawing me in. I push the weathered wooden door open, and the light tinkle of the bell that hangs above my head announces my presence. It's empty, only very dimly lit by a few worn-down candles. The shelves are stocked with curious trinkets and jars of strange-looking ingredients and potions, and an apparently endless collection of dusty old books line the walls. It smells faintly of incense and a little of... Is that ozone? Yes, like the way the air smells just before a storm. Like lightning. I hear footsteps and turn to find their owner, and I'm taken aback by the figure that appears from behind the pair of well-placed curtains.
I was just closing up, but can I help you?
Yes, you can. Wide eyes burn into me, brighter than the clearest of emeralds. His aura feels distinctly magical, and I'm very aware that I'm looking at a witch. A powerful one at that. I'm sorry to intrude, but I appear to be a little lost. I'm looking for the tavern? His gaze falls to my weapons and my sash, his cheeks darkening as realization apparently sets in.
Are you the new hunter?
I offer him a wry smile. Is that obvious? He returns my smile, and I can't help but feel welcome. At home, even.
Oh, just a little. It's lovely to meet you. The town has been alight with gossip about you this week, you know. My name is Ezra, by the way.
I'm Azra. It's nice to meet you, Ezra. Wow. You know, I remembered Ezra's name as I was making the name Azra, but they're similar, and I'm not going to worry about it.
Did anyone happen to tell you not to wander the streets when darkness falls? As capable as I'm sure you are, it's not advised. Especially these days.
I shake my head, still a little out of sorts from the long journey. Then, much to my embarrassment, my stomach decides to grumble loudly. Oh, I guess we're not having voice acting here. Okay. How rude of me. You must be starving. Take a seat in the back room and I'll quickly fix you something up. You really don't have to do that. I'd better be on my way.
You'll do no such thing. It's too dangerous out there. Please, I insist. It's no trouble, really.
I can hardly refuse when he's looking at me like that. I nod and follow him as he parts the curtains to reveal a cozy living space. There's a small kitchenette with a crooked dining table, and nestled in the corner is a tattered but comfy-looking sofa. Ezra fills an old steel kettle and pops it on the stove, igniting the stubborn burner with a grunt before he turns and offers me a smile.
I'm just going to pop upstairs and get you some blankets. I really do insist you stay until morning. You must be exhausted, and I'd hate to send you out into the darkness knowing...
He pauses, stopping himself.
Just wait here, and please, make yourself comfortable.
I can think of nothing worse than even walking across the street right now, let alone across town, so I swallow a polite protest. Thank you, Ezra. He disappears up a narrow staircase, and my curiosity instantly gets the better of me. A solitary candle burns upon the countertop, colorful, magical little lights hanging from various picture frames and shelves, as well as an abundance of luscious green plants. It's utterly enchanting, just like its owner, and obviously very well loved. There are generous amounts of personal belongings and keepsakes littering every possible nook, and I eye a tiny dish that's overflowing with brightly colored jewelry. Beside it sits a pile of crumpled parchment. Some of the pages are covered in an elegant, looping script, and others are filled with lovingly rendered portraits. I tentatively reach for one of the sketches at the top of the pile, but a loud crack startles me. I turn, as alert as I've always been taught to be as my fingers edge towards my weapon. The hairs on the back of my neck stand to attention, and I immediately know that there is a creature nearby. That's when I see them. A pair of glowing, fierce golden eyes peeking up at me from a previously hidden hatch in the floorboards. And before I can even think about defending myself, my man appeared. I'm pinned to the wall by a firm, cold, and inherently not human arm. Oh... I have just made another realization about myself. I have a labret lip piercing that is a ball beneath my lower lip, and I have gold jewelry. I have that same piercing. And there is a crescent moon on his chest. If you've seen my wrist, I have a tattoo of a crescent moon on my wrist. Yes, I got it impulsively because of this character. That moon is on my wrist because of this character. I'm outing myself now with the truth. Okay.
Who the hell are you? Where is Ezra?
I think also, I'm not a fan of Dragon Age, but I believe that is the voice actor of Fenris, I think that's what I was told. His lips curl into a snarl, affording me what feels like an incredibly pointed view of a set of long, sharp fangs. If I hadn't already clocked his deathly pallor, there'd be no second guessing what kind of creature I'm dealing with here. Vampire. I know I'd already be quite dead if that was what he truly wanted, and I feel nothing from him other than an overwhelming desire to protect something, or someone. His aura is panicked but distinctly non-threatening, so I decide to relax against his hold. I cautiously raise my hand and surrender in the hopes that he'll stand down. We're not taught to harm creatures who have no intent to harm us. It isn't what we stand for, at least, not the honorable hunters. Plus, vampires are the closest thing there is to humans in the Demonology Handbook, and I've met a few reasonable ones in my time. Emphasis on a few. He retreats a little, just as I'd hoped, just enough for me to gather my composure. Oh. I'm gonna... Tell me your name, traveler. Who are you and what do you want with Ezra?
What do I want with Ezra? Shouldn't I be asking you that, Hunter?
Now you can see his little moon on his chest. You know what? My hair used to be black. Now it's silver. I could have cosplayed him. I should. I will. I will cosplay him. Anyway. Oh, the voice acting is gone. Okay. Forgive me, but with what's been happening around here lately, I'm inclined to be wary of any strangers loitering in my friend's abode. He looks positively furious for the briefest of moments, but then he offers me a sharp, toothy grin, one that has my fingers twitching. The urge to reach for my weapon is suddenly overwhelming, and he notices. He laughs, and the noise sends a shiver rolling down my spine.
Are you afraid? Your kind are supposed to be pretty good at eliminating men like me, are they not?
I open my mouth to respond, but the sound of the kettle whistling as it comes to a boil distracts him, and he visibly relaxes. His gaze quickly darts to the staircase, then back to me. He steps back, the candlelight illuminating his angular face, all sharp lines and hair as black as the night. He's otherworldly, obviously attractive in all that tall, dark, and dead way, and his left arm is missing from the shoulder down. In its place is an advanced-looking prosthetic, flowing with what looks like incredibly advanced magic. He catches me looking at it and quirks that scarred brow.
Like what you see? Sorry, it's not for sale.
Shame. Ezra appears from upstairs, his eyes wide as he surveys the sight before him.
Finn? What are you doing here?
Oh my god, I can't speak. Iron fingers curl around Ezra's forearm, almost as though he's just checking he's real. His prosthetic thrums brightly as if it's responding to the touch. I sensed that you felt uneasy. I came immediately. Are you okay? Ezra smiles, covering Finn's hand with his own to gently pat at it. A reassuring gesture. The intricate patterns etched in the dark iron pulse like a heartbeat. I was only very briefly startled by the appearance of our new friend here. Right. Finn turns to me and dips his head in an apology.
I'm sorry about that less-than-savory introduction, Hunter. Things are a little on edge here lately.
I'd never have guessed. Ezra shakes his head, clearly amused by my sarcasm.
I'm fine. You really don't need to jump every stranger that passes this way.
That final reassurance seems to make the tension melt from Finn's broad shoulders. Sorry, Azaro. You don't need to be alarmed. He's an ally, I swear it. Even if he doesn't give the best first impression. Finn offers me a genuine, almost soft smile, but he looks guilty. As he should, I suppose. I catch Azra eyeing me warily, clearly sensing my apprehension. It isn't like it's every night you find yourself in a magic shop staring at a witch and an apparently friendly vampire. Finn's whole demeanor changed the second he laid eyes on Ezra, and I feel any fear traces... Wow, I can read. And I feel any final traces of fear melting away as he steps forward and offers me his hand. The smile that crosses his lips is mischievous, and cold fingers grip my own in a firm handshake when I reach for him.
It's truly a pleasure to meet you.
His pretty eyes brush over me like a caress, his pupils dilating, and I feel myself swaying, leaning toward him almost unconsciously. There's a soft whisper as muffled thoughts echoing in my mind, and I can't quite tell if they belong to me or him. It's soothing, and whatever he's doing grants me the foresight to see that he most certainly is harmless, that he bears no ill will toward me. Something tells me he now sees I'm harmless too.
Finnegan, stop that. It's not polite.
Finn closes his eyes briefly, breaking whatever connection he's created with me, and he offers me a killer smile. Literally. Shit, those fangs are really no joke. He must be pushing at least 5 centuries. I've heard of vampires enthralling their victims before a kill, but that felt more like a request to be understood. Like he wanted to show me he can be trusted. He exchanges an almost sheepish, knowing glance with Ezra, and I quickly feel my mind clearing itself. It's interesting to see such a powerful creature wither under a witch's gaze. Sorry, I'm just checking. He looks at me and our eyes lock. I nod once, appreciating that he cared enough to put me at ease. Then he's grinning again, wickedly. I hope he didn't hear anything untoward in there. Oh, I hope he did. Anyway, Ezra fusses with the kettle, pouring me a cup of fragrant tea and offering it to me on a pretty floral saucer. Here, this will help you get a good night's sleep. I take the cup with a nod, both of them staring intently as I take a small sip. It's good, refreshing, and exactly what I need. So, Azro, are you looking forward to becoming part of this Ouch! Ezra elbows him in the ribs, throwing him in a stern, warning glance, and Finn flinches a little too dramatically for a big, scary creature. Lovely town?
Do you have any idea what you've gotten yourself into?
I like a little adventure. I'm used to a little adventure. I truly hope I can help. Ezra looks defeated, but strangely optimistic. I hope my words sound honest because I really have little choice. I have to help. It's my job. My duty. Well, you certainly seem capable enough. Finn grimaces, exchanging a strange look with Ezra, and I feel like they're not telling me something.
My clan and I are at your disposal, should you require any assistance.
Clan? He nods, but I decide not to press him for details. Yet. I'd definitely like to know how many supposed good vampires reside here in Lunaris. I offer them both a smile and finish up my tea. Ezra hurries to take the empty cup from me and sets it upon the table. He places his hand upon Finn's arm. Finn, Azra needs to rest. Maybe you should head home? Finn nods, and Ezra follows him as he heads for the hatch. They embrace briefly, and Finn whispers something to Ezra's ear, the witch grinning brightly as he pulls away. Finn's warm, golden gaze locks with my own, and he smiles.
Be sure to take care. If you ever need anything, just scream, and I'll come running.
For you? Yes. He winks, and my traitorous cheeks threaten to warm at the sight of it. He notices and laughs quietly, a deep, comforting rasp that I could most certainly find myself getting used to. It was nice to meet you, Finn. Finn gracefully lowers himself into the hatch, and Ezra stares into the darkness until the door slams shut. He turns and retrieves a tin of biscuits from a cupboard, offering them to me and waiting expectantly until I take a handful.
Please don't let our apprehension worry you. I'm sure you're more than capable of getting to the bottom of all this. Some are saying the town has been cursed, but I sense something else. Something bigger.
Well, it's always a terrible night for a curse. Ooh, buddy. That's giving me Castlevania vibes. Even though we've only just met, I feel like I can trust him. Within moments of my arrival, I could tell that something about this town is off, and I intend to get to the bottom of this mess. I have to live up to my apparently impressive reputation, right?
We've lost people, good people, and the investigation seems to have just halted. We don't know what more we can do. Ugh. Look at me getting all emotional when you're probably dead on your feet and desperate to get some sleep.
He quickly gathers himself, forcing a laugh to break the somber mood. Thank you for letting me stay, Ezra. I'll be out of your hair first thing. I stifle a yawn as Ezra turns to fuss with some blankets. I'm thoroughly looking forward to settling upon the sofa, however tiny it may be.
Really, it's no problem at all. Wouldn't dream of letting you wander the streets at this hour, especially after that journey. I'll see you in the morning. If you need anything, just shout.
Me drinking ginger ale as I play this game. Pardon. He heads upstairs, and I eagerly remove my boots. The relief is instant when I settle against the cushions, pulling the soft blanket up to my chin. Despite the abundance of questions that currently flood my mind, I swiftly fall into a blissful, dreamless sleep. After I wake and Ezra eagerly makes me more tea, I join him in the shop as I prepare to leave. I wait patiently while he deals with what sounds like a particularly difficult customer, doing my best to eavesdrop as I survey the books that line the walls. Most of them are in languages I don't understand. There's a strange energy in the air, and my senses tell me that Ezra's visitor is also of magical origin.
You really can't just drop by like this and expect me to have what you need right away. These things take time.
That's always your excuse, Ezra. Do you not want me to work hard to save this town?
Ezra sighs, apparently not willing to argue, or maybe he knows he'll lose. The tall figure he's bickering with turns to look at me, and I'm caught off guard by their piercing eyes, their stare cutting me to my core. They scowl, their lips pursed as they turn on a towering heel like I have a target on my forehead. Ezra looks like he's about to try to say something to stop them, but they wave dismissively over their shoulder. Ooh, buddy, here we go, August. They come to a stop before me and steal their gaze, staring me down and studying me from head to toe in a slow, pointed drag. I register the familiar violet sash that adorns their torso, the very same as mine, and I exchange a quick glance with Ezra. He looks apologetic as he hurriedly emerges from behind the counter to join us. An enforcer, then. One who apparently doesn't feel that it's necessary to wear the standard uniform, or maybe they simply think they're too important. They have a commanding presence about them, and I can't help but wonder what rank they hold.
So you're my new subordinate? Interesting.
Gus. August? So this is the infamous Major General Willenheim that I've been assigned to? They're a prolific figure countrywide, and they're known for being responsible for one of the best hunters that Eskria has to offer. It will be a true honor to serve under them, despite their apparently icy disposition. Historically, enforcers aren't the friendliest bunch. They live to serve just as we do, but they hold a much higher authority and love to remind us about it. The way Ezra said their name carried a warning, and August scowls at him briefly before turning their attention back to me. I notice how tired they'd look, their eyes heavy-lidded and their skin pale, and they even almost sway where they stand. Apparently Ezra notices too, a flash of concern crossing his features as he quickly rushes to gather some ingredients from a locked cabinet. It looks like he's done this before, seen them like this before. It's a pleasure to meet you, Enforcer Willenheim.
Yes, I know exactly who you are. Your arrival has caused quite a stir, and more than a little paperwork.
They glance over at Ezra, watching as he breaks off a few sprigs from a neatly wrapped bundle of herbs and pops them into a glass vial. Their foot taps impatiently on the floor, an exasperated scoff falling from their lips as they turn to look at me once again, eyes rolling. So, tell me, Hunter Anthus, are you ready to partake in one of the most baffling missions I've come across? Yes, General. Of course, General. I'm looking forward to working with you. They quirk a perfectly sculpted brow, their lips pursed in contemplation.
I don't suffer fools, and I certainly don't tolerate tardiness. If you're capable, we'll get along just fine.
Their unrelenting gaze burns into my own, and I swallow thickly, offering them a genuine smile as I can muster under such scrutiny. I think everything will work out. This won't be as effective, but it'll do the job for now. As August eagerly reaches for the vial clutched in Ezra's palm, the witch pulls away and fixes them with a worried gaze.
Please stop doing this to yourself. They're pushing you too far and you know it. You're better than this.
Now we both know that's not true. Ezra surrenders the vial, the vicious, violent liquid glowing dully as August takes it with a trembling hand. Ezra squeezes August's fingers before pulling away. He looks impossibly sad. There's always a choice. Remember that. August seems lost for words, but manages to maintain their carefully crafted annoyance. They reach for the door with yet another roll of their eyes, pausing briefly to catch my gaze.
I'll see you tomorrow. Don't be late.
We stand outside the shop, the sky bright but the town somehow still feeling inherently gloomy.
If you ever need anything, you know where to find me. Please don't hesitate to stop by.
You won't get rid of me if you say that. Oh, I wouldn't mind. His smile softens, and I feel incredibly grateful that I stumbled across him. I mean it, though, anytime. And be careful. Thank you, Ezra. I bid him farewell, reluctantly leaving the warmth and safety of the shop behind to follow the rickety old street signs that point me toward the tavern, the place I'll be calling home for the foreseeable future. The tavern is bustling and full to the brim with red-faced patrons, the tables littered with empty tankards. It's only 9:30 in the morning, but clearly this town likes to drown their sorrows, even if the sun has barely risen. I push my way to the bar, and the scowling barmaid rolls her eyes at me as I politely raise my hand to get her attention. What? I have a room here. Could I check in, please? She promptly rolls her eyes again and ducks behind the bar, reappearing within a few seconds looking even more pissed off. Room isn't ready until 2. You have to get a drink to make yourself scarce. Or make yourself scarce. I got you. I muster a polite, albeit forced smile, turning to find a table, but I find myself face to face with a striking, scowling woman who appears to be blocking me entirely on purpose.
So this is the famous hunter that's taking my place, then? You don't look like anything special to me. Come to gloat, have you? Rub it in my face.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ezra. She looks taken aback, clearly not expecting me to be polite, and she quickly straightens up, her features softening. Kind of. I know exactly who you are.
I'm Piper. Piper Merriman.
I'm the former general. I was leading this investigation until you came along. I had no idea. I just go where I'm ordered. You of all people must know we don't have much of a choice. Her gaze drops to her hands and she picks at a non-existent piece of lint on her trousers. Yes, well, I do know that, I suppose. So I've really been called here to take Piper Merriman's place? She's a legend, having racked up more kills than some of the most seasoned hunters, and all that at the tender age of 24. I feel terrible. I wasn't told I'd be replacing anyone, and her being upset suddenly seems pretty justified. I'd be devastated if I was demoted too. We work so hard and put our lives on the line, all the while the majority of the enforcers sit safely behind their desks, holding our fate in hands that aren't stained with blood while our fingers drip with it. Hot mama. Piper makes a vague gesture at the barmaid, and she swiftly handed a glass of warm amber liquid that she delicately cradles in her palm. She steps closer with narrowed eyes, surveying me in a way that almost reminds me of August. Pretty sure I won't be getting Employee of the Month anytime soon. We could always work together? I'm getting the feeling I'll need the help. And I'm sorry, truly. I can't imagine how frustrating this must be for you. She continues to look annoyed, but I can tell a more vulnerable emotion lingers beneath this seemingly rock-hard exterior. She swirls the rum around, watching the gentle slosh of it as it coats the sides of the glass.
Yes, well, that's what I get for being utterly shit at my job, isn't it?
She scoffs a laugh, but the smile that curls at her ruby lips doesn't reach her eyes. Anyway, I'm sure I'll see you in the field. I'm not totally useless, apparently.
They just have me doing the awful jobs. The stuff that doesn't actually matter. What a waste of a perfectly amazing hunter.
Enforcers. Just a bunch of pencil-pushing wankers. Yeah. I stay silent, sensing that she might need someone to vent to. I've been there. Our job can be hard, and not just on our bodies.
Anyway, I can see I'm boring you. I'll just be over there, continuing to drown my sorrows until Willenheim summons me.
They're such an arsehole. I huff a laugh, covering my mouth with my hand in a poor attempt to stifle a noise, and she seems briefly amused by my reaction. She offers me a thoughtful glance, and then sighs loudly.
Don't take any shit from them, okay? Come and see me if they bother you. I'm not afraid to stick my boot up their backside. Again.
Anyway, I'll see you around. She doesn't wait for me to respond, and with the flick of a long chestnut hair, she's gone. I spot her disappearing into the heavy crowd that's mulling about in the center of the tavern. A crowd that's apparently pretty pissed off about something. I decide to investigate. Might as well get stuck right in. What could possibly go wrong? I push my way into the crowd, and what I find both baffles and amuses me. A lichen, a hybrid lichen, sat smack bang in the middle of the tavern, arms folded across his chest. He has a smirk plastered across his scarred lips, his wolf ears twitching dismissively as the townsfolk hoot and holler at him. The lichen doesn't seem to care and grabs his drink, taking a deep swig. My first impression is that he seems perfectly harmless, even if his cockiness is almost palpable aura. As I take a step closer, however, I can see the scars he bears. A seasoned scrapper, then. Not shy in the least and eager to stir up the ire of the authorities or other creatures, apparently. He spots me then, his scarlet eyes flashing, and then he's kicking out the chair in front of him and gesturing for me to sit down. Either he's bold or he's gotten something to prove, and I find myself being watched by the eyes of every tavern-goer. They're all waiting to see if I'm able to oblige the object of their disdain, and the tavern falls deathly silent. As I take a seat, the crowd slowly begins to disperse. Though their eyes stay firmly fixed upon both myself and the lichen as they return to their respective seats.
They're lucky I kept my cool. Wouldn't you say, Hunter?
You seem harmless. You seem harmless enough. I think I can handle you. His brows draw together in a deep scowl, but he still looks relatively relaxed. Playful, even.
You do you? Would you care to test that theory?
Bet. One of his wolf ears twitches, and I can't help but smile at the loose threat. Maybe another time. How about you tell me your name and why you apparently have a death wish hanging around in a tavern full of humans who quite clearly aren't too fond of non-humans? He bristles, his tail wrapping around the edge of his chair as he places his now empty tankard upon the table. The noise draws a gasp from nearly every single patron, and I glance over at Piper, who sits in the corner, either oblivious or uncaring.
It's Alcar, and I don't have a death wish. Not today, anyway.
Hot damn. Only today? He smiles, folding his arms back across his chest.
You don't need to concern yourself with me, Hunter. I stay far away from your kind. From everyone. Mostly. I do enjoy coming here to rile this lot up, though. Unless they come looking for me, of course.
He glances over his shoulder, catching Piper's gaze. She flips him off, and he turns back around to face me, his shoulders shaking with laughter.
I'm sure you'll grow to despise me in time. Just like every other idiot in this hopeless town.
He stands and all the patrons stiffen. It's so quiet you could hear a pin drop. But Alcar merely rolls his pretty eyes and flashes me a sharp grin. He looms over me, close enough that I can smell the earthly, distinctly petrichorous scent of him? That's a word I don't know.
If my advice is worth anything to you, then trust me when I say to trust no one.
He stares me down. Even you?
Especially me. Goodbye, Hunter.
I watch him leave, feeling everyone's gaze still fixed upon me. I compose myself and offer them a smile, as genuine as I can muster after such an odd encounter. I glance at the clock, and it's only 10:30. Yeah, I have some time to kill. The town is small, very small, and it takes me less than an hour to walk to it from end to end. On my travels, I find myself drawn to the cemetery, and the scent of blood is thick here. That would be because this is the site of the last murder. I come across a patch of scorched grass. The earth around it is trampled by the boots of enforcers and hunters alike. The remnants of a crumpled gravestone are littered around the perfect black outline of the body, and I take a deep breath, crouching down to skim my fingers along the edges. I close my eyes and try to picture it, what happened to them, but it's hard to truly see knowing how stark the darkness is here. It's a blur, a mere memory, but I feel terror. They were so scared, utterly alone in their final moments. But something sticks out to me over all of that fear. I'm sorry. I love you. The words hit me hard, my chest aching, and I feel an intense longing. I feel love, the powerful and unconditional kind that snatches the air from your lungs. I take a deep breath and force myself to stand, trying to shake the feeling. And I'm going to take a sip of Canada Dry, because my throat is getting dry. I'll find out who killed you. I'm startled by the sudden sound of heavy footsteps, my hand hovering over my weapon. I look around frantically, on guard and ready, and then a striking figure appears. He's clad in fine clothing, his long hair tied in a neat ponytail, the crown of his head adorned with delicate jewelry, and I should be unsettled, the pointed teeth and sharp claws indicating he's definitely not human, but he's smiling. Then the flicker of a spade-tipped tail tells me all I need to know. I'm staring at a glamored demon, though I'm finding it hard to be alarmed by his presence, which seems to be the theme here in Lunaris. His eyes are a warm chestnut brown. Bitch, his eyes are red. And they sparkle in the dappled sunlight as he gazes at me in wonder.
Hello, Hunter. I've been looking forward to meeting you.
You have? You've been expecting me? I watch as his cheeks darken, his gaze dropping to the grass.
Well, people talk and I listen, and they've done a lot of talking about you. I hope I didn't scare you.
Well, he's certainly not like any other demon I've encountered. The not trying to kill me part helps. You didn't, it's okay.
You're sure? I've gotten used to startling people.
I promise you haven't. I've seen scarier. He laughs, his tail flickering. Oh, I'm certain you have. His aura is calm, if not a little skittish, and I decide he's probably more scared of me than I am of him. He's still hard to read, though, and that's frustrating, but not necessarily alarming. What's your name? The demon exhales sharply, apparently relieved that I'm making conversation rather than drawing my weapon.
It's Omen.
You've got to be kidding me. What kind of omen? I feel a smile curling at the corners of my lips. Are you a good omen or a bad one? His lashes flicker and I quickly realize he may not be versed in bad jokes. What? Don't worry. It's nice to meet you, woman. I'm Azro. So, how was your first day in Lunaris, Ben? I have a quiet laugh, yet again perplexed by the wonderfully weird inhabitants of this town. He's certainly the most polite demon I've ever met. I guess it's been fine. I'm just a little overwhelmed. It's a strange town, isn't it? Omen laughs, the sound musical and almost infectious, causing my own smile to widen.
You're being polite. It's more than strange. It's a mess. A mess I and many others hope you can fix.
I grimace, my gaze drifting back down to the place where the last murder victim lay. I sigh and muster as much confidence as I possibly can. I can do this. I can solve these murders. So, absolutely no pressure then? Omen shrugs playfully.
No pressure at all. Welcome to Lunaris.
Lunaris? I haven't actually heard it pronounced, so Lunaris. I got you. Hello? I make it to the enforcement headquarters with time to spare after August's thinly veiled threat about tardiness yesterday. I had a terrible night's sleep on the scratchy sheets, and I couldn't possibly feel less ready to face my less-than-friendly superior. I raise my fist to knock on the door, but the muffled conversations that I hear coming from inside has me hesitating. It sounds heated, and I glance at the clock on the wall behind me to check the time. I have 1 minute before I'm sure General Willenheim will admonish me for being late. So, I take a deep breath and I knock. The voices stop suddenly. I hear a clack of heels and then... Yes? Oh, it's you. They quickly glance at the clock.
Well, you're on time, at least. Congratulations. I know it's terribly cozy out there, but please come in.
I nod politely and quickly step into the enforcer's office. It's beautifully decorated with neatly arranged bookcases lining the walls that are laden with a collection of trinkets and tomes that possibly rivals Ezra's. There's a huge desk in the middle that overflows with reports and letters, and a half-empty inkpot and elegant sapphire quill poised and ready. Then, as if I'm experiencing a rather vivid case of déjà vu, Piper appears before me looking decidedly less impressed than she did in the tavern yesterday.
Hunter?
Nice to see you again. Hello, Piper. It's nice to see you. Oh. Oh, no. Did I... Okay. She stares at me, her eyes narrowed as her gaze flickers to August, who stands quietly just behind me. Their hands are clasped behind their back, a dark eyebrow quirked almost expectantly. Piper frowns at them, her nose crinkling before she swiftly turns her attention back to me. Yes, you too. I offer her a smile, but the one she offers in return doesn't quite meet her eyes. I appreciate the effort nonetheless. So, you two have met already, In the tavern again, were you, Piper? August sighs heavily when we both fail to respond, and Piper manages to look anywhere but her superior. Anyway, they run their hand along the edge of their desk, inspecting their perfectly dust-free fingertip as Piper huffs in the general direction.
I know you have very important business to attend to, but I'm not finished with you yet, Willenheim.
Is that so?
I've given you your mission, you've complained about it, loudly. So, pray tell, Major, what else could there possibly be?
Piper flinches, and I see her demeanor shift, her admirable determination withering and dying as that word rolls off August's tongue. A harsh reminder of her demotion, and one that clearly stings. I wonder if I'll ever get the chance to ask her about it, to finally know exactly what she did that warranted her being made such an example of.
Nice, August. Really nice.
You could quite literally cut the tension in here with a dull-bladed dagger. It's not awkward at all. We have a meeting, General? August sighs, glancing at Piper almost guiltily, but the sorry expression fades the second she meets their gaze. Yes, we do. Is that everything for today, merry men? Is it ever? I wasn't to ask. They take a deep breath, pinching the bridge of their nose between their forefinger and thumb. You're dismissed for today, merryman. They stare each other down, and I wonder how the hell they ever managed to become one of those most successful elimination teams in all of Escria. I've heard countless weird and wonderful stories of their partnership, of Piper's unparalleled strength and August's unmatched intelligence. But here, now? All I see is a dispirited hunter and an impossibly tired enforcer. Harry is on his way. I suggest you depart quickly.
Shit.
She blanches at that, and I can almost see her admitting defeat. Her shoulders relax, and the furrow of her brow fades.
Fine. I'll go and look for your possibly a small chimera, but probably a big fucking cat. One day you'll have to stop punishing me, you know.
Piper grabs a set of expensive-looking daggers from the chair in front of the desk, strapping them to her back with haste. She pauses in front of me, and those dark eyes soften as she meets my gaze.
See you around, Hunter. Enjoy your important meeting, and remember what I said. Foot. Ass.
She chances another glance at August, and they suddenly become very interested in studying their perfectly manicured nails. With a wink, she then fully spins to face August, squaring up to them playfully. The Enforcer towers above her, still uncaring, still unbothered. Twat. And with that, she turns on her heel and slams the door so hard it shakes in its frame. August walks around the back of their desk, practically falling into the well-used leather chair. I scan the piles upon piles of paperwork that litter the surface, taking in the countless reports and letters, scribbling diagrams and gruesome drawings. I get the impression August is in over their head. The disorder of all this information makes my fingers twitch. They watch me carefully, stifling a yawn with a trembling hand. I know, trust me. I know. As much as I hate to admit it, we've got nothing. As of right now, I suspect everyone in this town. As should you. Though I may not really know them just yet, I sense that this kind of vulnerability is seeing rare. I'm seeing as rare. Sorry, I can't read. August doesn't strike me as the type to admit defeat so easily, and something more serious than the usual stress of the job seems to be lingering under the surface. After what I witnessed back in Ezra's shop, I can't help but wonder what they were like before all of this. The way the young witch looked at them, it was pity. Ezra pitied August. August huffs a quiet laugh and relaxes back in their chair, and for the first time since we met, they seem to let their guard down.
I don't know why Harry decided you were the right person for this job above all others, but I trust him implicitly. So, whatever plan he has for you, we had better make it work.
Thanks, bitch. They pause, staring me down with those ice blue eyes. Now, are you ready to begin? So, that is a little bit into Chapter 2. The other version of this game that I was playing, the free version, where you can donate what you want to pay, it will tell you when the chapter was over, I believe so. So, it wasn't entirely clear to me that Chapter 2 had begun. So, I don't know if I'm going to make it a chapter by chapter. I'm just going to kind of go until I can't talk anymore because my throat is like, no. So, yeah. So, thank you guys for watching, and join me next time to see more of Finn. Bye.